This man has an impossible dream: carve a two-story home for his family inside a mountain. To succeed, he has to carve 2 floors and an internal staircase, hoping both sides will meet. But the mountain fights back. He battles torrential storms, fire, and the constant threat of collapse under tons of stone. He wants to transform raw rock into a fully functional home, complete with electricity and running water. Then, a sudden crisis forces him away. For 2 long years, the forest violently reclaims his hard work. Will he find the strength to see his 7-year dream to the end? It all started in 2019, deep within the bamboo forests of Sichuan, China. While the world builds with brick and mortar, Mr. Hu chooses a different path. A 2-story home for his family, carved directly into the mountain itself. Years of experience in coal mining and construction taught him how rock behaves under pressure and where it can fail. But no amount of knowledge can predict what lies hidden deep within this mountain. The plan is brutally ambitious. Cut a ground floor into solid rock, drill a new entry higher up, and carve an internal staircase that must align perfectly to connect both floors. The work begins on the lower level. For Hu, it traces back to a childhood vision. Why build a home by stacking stone when you could carve one directly from a mountain? With the skills he's gained and a family he wants to provide for, that dream feels stronger than ever. In Sichuan, rain is a relentless enemy. It finds its way through even the smallest gaps, so sealing the entry at this stage is a structural necessity. Like any home, it will eventually need electricity and running water, essential systems he will have to find a way to bring into the mountain. The deeper he goes, the more complex the engineering becomes. To cut through the solid rock, Hu uses a water core drill that extracts cylindrical sections of stone. It works by continuously pumping water through the bit, turning rock dust into slurry and making removal far easier. Nothing here is wasted. These cylinders are carefully extracted and stored for later use throughout the build. With thousands of tons overhead, the risk of collapse is constant. Hu cannot clear the room all at once, so he leaves a massive central pillar to hold the ceiling. Then he carves the walls into an arch, shifting the load into the side walls. Only then is the pillar safe to remove. Carving a mountain by hand is a brutal physical challenge, and doing it alone only multiplies the exhaustion. Every angle hurts, especially the overhead work, which sends numbing pain through his shoulders and neck. Still, it is not enough to make Hu give up on his dream, so he keeps expanding what will become his main bedroom. During the expansion, he notices a subtle draft. Using a lighter, he sees the flame flicker. Air is leaking somewhere through the rock. It means there are cracks. If rainwater starts entering them, it could be a real mess. So he stops excavating the rear wall to avoid destabilizing it, and will tackle the problem after fully removing the column. The column finally gives way, and exactly as planned, the arched ceiling holds firm. Following his recycling ethos, part of the column is shaped into a small table for the garden. But half a ton of rock is far beyond what one man could move by force alone. So he decides to use some saved cylinders to move it outside. It's only the first of many ingenious tricks Hu will use while carving his two-story mountain home by himself. With the column out, he can begin shaping the room's final proportions. In a landscape of jagged stone and uneven surfaces, precision becomes essential. He relies on a self-leveling construction laser. Its green beam becomes his only objective reference. Once the stone is cut away, there is no reversing the mistake. That level of accuracy is critical for the layout he has planned. This first floor will become the master suite for him and his wife, while a second level still waiting to be carved above will one day belong to his children. With the floor leveled, Hu takes preventive action against Sichuan's heavy storms. The crack he found while expanding the room could become a big problem once real rain hits, so he cuts a drainage trench from there to the entrance, guiding any water out. As an extra precaution, he applies cement to the crack, hoping this seal and the drainage trench will keep the house dry. All that remains is to wait and see how the mountain responds. Next, he begins the most high-stakes structural connection, the internal staircase. The stairs will lead up to the second floor, so logistical foresight is critical here. He marks out the blueprint on the facade, calculating the exact number of steps needed to reach it. It's been a year and a half since he first began the project, and he's not even halfway finished. The ground floor finally has the rough shape of a room, but his vision reaches higher. So he starts building up, turning the space into a duplex, with no idea whether the rock above is stable or waiting to come down on him. As the stairwell ascends, a familiar bottleneck returns. The physical exhaustion of overhead work is unsustainable. Hu shifts his strategy. He'll pause after these first steps. He will excavate the upper floor and finish the stairs top-down later on, protecting his back and guaranteeing a perfect connection. Suddenly, heavy storms arrive, and the mountain home faces a massive test. Inside, the rain proves his water plan was not enough. The cement has failed, and the drainage trench is overwhelmed. If Hu wants to make this cave livable, he needs a permanent fix. Once the storm subsides, Hu rushes to secure the room. The problem is bigger than expected. Water is not just seeping in, it is pouring through the crack. This forces him to reinforce the area with more cement and complete the seal with expanding foam. His expertise tells him not to seal it completely. The rock needs to breathe. While applying the foam, he intentionally leaves small ventilation openings to prevent humidity from building up inside the rock. As a final layer of protection, he installs mesh screens over the openings, keeping insects from entering the house. With the rear wall sealed, work can resume. Hu wants to make the space habitable as quickly as possible, so he can move in while construction continues. He starts with the floor, installing tiles that create a barrier against the constant moisture rising from the earth. But the space still lacks its most essential systems: electricity and running water. To bring power to this remote site, he personally dragged miles of cable through the forest. A brutal effort, but one that finally brings the reward of light into the mountain home. With electricity sorted, he turns to the next essential system: running water. There's a natural spring a mile away, a perfect opportunity to pump fresh water all the way to the house. But before bringing water in, wastewater needs somewhere to go, so a deep pit is dug for the future bathroom. The water coming from the spring needs to be stored, so a tank is brought up to the bamboo slopes. An automatic float switch cuts the power the moment it fills, preventing overflows. Then he begins laying a long network of pipes through the forest, overcoming a 100-foot drop to connect his home to the spring. At the source, a submersible pump will bring the whole system to life, pushing water all the way up to the tank, which will then supply the house. The water is crystal clear and completely potable. With the supply system operational here, Hu can return to the mountain house to complete the final connections. Inside the master suite, he installs plumbing lines for the toilet and bathroom, while additional exterior pipes will later extend the system to a future kitchen and garden. The setup is finally ready to test. Water flows perfectly through the pipes and drains safely out into the forest, completing the loop. The project is moving closer every day to becoming a fully livable home. Soon, Hu will start work on the kitchen, carve out the second floor, and connect both levels from within. But first, the entrance needs protection. On the steep terrain, heavy rain can turn the soil into mud and send it sliding down the precipice. A concrete base locks the ground in place and stabilizes the entrance. He finds a second use for the saved rock cylinders, a retaining wall around the garden. It is getting cold inside the cave, and before sealing the window, Hu builds a homemade stove for the lower floor. By lining the interior with refractory mortar, he creates thermal mass that continues to radiate heat long after the fire has gone out. He positions the stove beneath the gaps in the rear wall, using them as a chimney to vent smoke safely outside. Completing the window is the final step for the first floor, before Hu shifts his focus to the exterior and the upper level. A proper window here will keep out rain and bugs, while allowing natural light and ventilation. When he finishes the window, Hu will leave the first floor empty, knowing that the future staircase connection will bring heavy dust and debris that could damage any finished surfaces. After connecting both levels, he will furnish it and finally move in. The first floor is now sealed, and construction starts to move upward. To ensure success, he plans everything in detail on a whiteboard. He will carve an outdoor kitchen directly into the rock, saving valuable space inside. Its roof will then become a terrace, giving Hu the platform he needs to start carving the second floor. After 2 years of work, the project is nearing the upper floor. Excavating into the mountain again means starting from zero, under even greater physical strain. Hu can only hope the condition of the rock above allows him to complete his dream. While clearing the area for the kitchen, Hu notices several trees that could fall onto the structure. He takes advantage of the situation to cut them down safely and repurpose them as structural pillars for the porch. To fix the main horizontal beams to the facade, he bores deep sockets directly into the mountain rock. This ensures that the weight of the roof is transferred directly into the stone, eliminating the need for external brackets or supports. Once the porch structure is in place, the rock beneath it can finally be turned into the kitchen. The design includes 2 independent combustion holes, one for cooking and the other for boiling water. Hu spots a natural crack in the rock and turns it into a brick chimney, creating an ingenious way to vent the kitchen smoke. As a final detail for the kitchen, he coats the countertop with cement. It seals small cracks, prevents water infiltration, and creates a surface that can be cleaned easily, ready for daily cooking. Connecting the outdoor kitchen to the second-floor balcony is one of the project's greatest challenges. He decides to carve an external staircase directly into the solid stone. Unlike building with wood or brick, a mistake in rock is completely irreversible. But so far, Hu has shown that his years in coal mining gave him a level of craftsmanship that borders on mastery. Right next to the steps, he excavates a storm drainage channel. Its purpose is to channel heavy rainfall and mud straight into this trench while construction continues above. But for Hu's children, it serves a far more entertaining purpose. As a safety measure, he adds a log railing, sealing the ends with a black moisture barrier to prevent the timber from rotting in a few months. He's taking extra care to make the entire home safe for his kids. "30 months ago, this cliff face was nothing but solid Sichuan sandstone. Working entirely alone, Hu has carved a bedroom and living space, brought water and electricity deep into the mountain, built an outdoor kitchen connected to the terrace, and is now preparing to excavate the upper floor. It's the biggest project of his life, and the stakes have just doubled. Excavating upward changes the structural balance. One mistake or weak rock layer could affect everything built below. But completing the dream home for his family means one thing: he has to keep going. Once the terrace fully dries, he can finally begin the demanding process of carving out the second floor itself. He begins with the entryway, planning to later carve a wide window along one side to bring in natural light. Inside this room, he will shape a studio space and accommodate bunk beds for his 2 children. The height of this terrace has been calculated with absolute precision, making it possible to later connect the 2 floors with 7 internal steps, and leaving enough clearance between rooms. But that same height introduces a challenge. Clearing all the debris by hand slows progress significantly. After hours of exhausting work, he devises an effective solution: a slide system to move material downward with far less effort and keep the build moving forward. Deep into the second floor excavation, the brutal physical exhaustion forces Hu to rethink his drilling methods. He invests nearly $100 in a professional drill stand. It is designed to mount the water drill on a sliding track and turn back-breaking labor into a comfortable operation. He gives it a try, but the stand is too difficult to maneuver. Hu quickly realizes that setting up the rig for a single hole takes longer than drilling 5 by hand. So he returns to manual drilling. The moment to connect the staircase is getting close. But after weeks of continuous drilling, the sandstone has badly worn down Hu's drill bits. Rather than stop work or try to get new ones, he leverages his own resourcefulness. A makeshift forge becomes a workshop for restoring his tools. Using a hairdryer to force air into the flames, the fire reaches temperatures hot enough to reshape metal. One by one, he restores 36 worn drill bits, extending the life of equipment that would otherwise need replacing. Rearmed and entirely independent, the way is cleared to face the challenge he's been waiting for since the project began. The internal staircase, paused a year ago at the lower level, must now connect perfectly from the top down. A precise descent into a space he cannot see, and there is zero room for error. With the confidence of a master, Hu takes on the task. But if he's off by just an inch, the two sections won't meet. His calculations are flawless. It's a breathtaking victory. 3 years of independent engineering and meticulous planning have paid off. The two floors are about to be unified, marking the most important milestone of the entire project. Through his persistence and stubborn determination, Hu has overcome every major challenge the build could throw at him, and is now closer than ever to spending his first night in his home. For the first time, both floors function as a single space. Hu can now return to the lower floor to make it ready to live in, starting by building the main bed frame. The next critical target is hot water for showering. Hu refuses to give up comfort, even this far from civilization. A newly installed heater can raise the water temperature to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. But the shower pressure is too weak to be usable, so he makes a bold adjustment, relocating his entire water storage system higher into the bamboo forest. By elevating the water tower, he lets gravity do the work, increasing the flow and restoring pressure. Now, the water runs strong and consistent, ready to use. But comfort is not only about hot water. The bare sandstone sheds fine grit, covering everything in dust. To stop it, Hu mixes a sealant by hand and coats the entire room, letting the chemical bind the loose surface and keep the space clean. He also applies the final coat of paint now, giving the smell time to fade before spending his first night here. While the paint dries, he brings in materials to add a partition wall in the bathroom for privacy and to contain shower water. For the first time in years, the cave meets the basic conditions for who to move in. The last task before that is sealing the upper entrance. Rather than buying new materials, Hu reuses a salvaged door from an earlier project. Recessed deep into the rock face, the doorway protects the interior even during heavy rain. But the greatest reward comes after the work is done. For the first time, Hu will spend the night inside the mountain home he built with his own hands. The focus for the next morning is the upper all-in-one workspace. Instead of building or importing heavy furniture, the entire layout is hollowed directly out of the sandstone. A central cavity forms the desktop, while the upper opening is reserved for the window. Cutting a massive hole would compromise the integrity of the cliff face, so Hu opts for a honeycomb design that lets in light and air while keeping the rock structure intact. A separate lower section is carved away to provide functional legroom. The true genius of the design is invisible to the eye. Every cylinder is drilled at a subtle downward angle, leading rainwater out of the room during any storm. The new studio can now breathe, letting in fresh air and natural daylight. But while carving out the space, Hu notices the wall leans heavily. To avoid a longer leveling job later, he uses a laser to carve a perfectly flat baseline before digging deeper. Excavation on the second floor hits an unexpected obstacle: a natural mountain fissure. He wonders if it's the same crack that leads water into the first floor. The fault line is massive, running right behind the walls of both levels. Carving deeper risks opening a permanent path for water leaks, or worse, triggering a structural collapse. To map the danger, he runs a clever experiment, burning wood directly inside the fissure. What he discovers is better than expected. The smoke escapes through a single sealed outlet with no dangerous fractures that could risk a cave-in. The surrounding rocks and sloped terrain also prevent rainwater from entering. But knowledge comes at a price. The smoke test leaves his once golden studio charred with a layer of soot. Hu must reskin the entire room. The original plan was to expand this space and make it much larger, but the massive crack on the rear wall made him change his strategy and stop excavating for now. Instead, he shifts focus to a more immediate concern: securing the cliffside balcony. Using steel tubing, he builds a custom railing so his children can run around safely. Once the balcony is complete, the next phase will focus on enclosing the outdoor kitchen and continuing a series of upgrades throughout the garden. In the high-humidity climate of Sichuan, unsealed structures face rapid decay from trapped moisture. Hu shapes leftover sandstone into a foundation that will isolate the kitchen from the wet environment. After years exposed to the elements, parts of the mountain house are already beginning to require maintenance. Using leftover stone blocks, he redoes some steps of the exterior stairs. To capture natural light while fighting the elements, a sliding track system is anchored beneath the porch to add windows. The tracks are carefully integrated into the structure, allowing the large window frames to slide away completely into the side walls without occupying any space inside the kitchen. Years of hands-on construction work have shaped Hu into a craftsman who can adapt to almost any material, from solid rock and steel to wood and bamboo. He has locally harvested this bamboo, cut after the winter solstice, when it contains less sap and sugar, making it naturally more resistant to insect infestations. He installs the stalks, mimicking the pattern of overlapping roof tiles to shed water cleanly. The final step is fire curing. Passing a blowtorch over the green bamboo forces its natural oils to the surface, making a hard, protective shield over the bamboo. The kitchen is fully sealed, weather-tight, and visually unified with the surrounding forest. Four years ago, Hu first carved into the wall, and now the project is reaching its final stage. His family is preparing to move in this month, but there are still a few ideas he wants to complete. Surrounded by forest and far from any neighbors, the night brings near total darkness. To change that, he installs a series of solar-powered lights throughout the courtyard and along the paths. Just outside the exterior patio, he builds a small pool for his children. The pond will be connected to his plumbing system, fed directly by the fresh spring water. He even considers letting fish grow inside as a future food source. Hu turns his attention to the final interior touches on the lower floor, preparing the space as a surprise for his wife. After this room, all that remains is bringing in a few kitchen appliances and installing the bunk beds upstairs. But just as the house is nearing completion, an unexpected personal matter forces him to stop everything and step away from the project for 2 years. Hu finally returns to the mountain house, and the impact is devastating. Without constant human presence to keep it at bay, Sichuan's brutal humidity has taken absolute control of the space. Outside, the line between the house and the cliff face has completely blurred. An aggressive network of wild roots and vines has invaded the stone facade. It is a heartbreaking setback, seeing years of brutal physical sacrifice being swallowed by the forest. But Hu did not come back to surrender. More determined than ever, he is ready to get his mountain house back to life. Back inside, the first task is dealing with the damage caused by the trapped moisture. The bed, completely rotted and unusable, is the first thing to go. Removing it also clears the space he needs to deep clean the whole room. This 2-year delay might be seen as a setback, but Hu treats it as a durability test. Nature invaded some areas that he thought were safe. Now, he won't just fix the damage, He will upgrade the entire house, making his dream not only impressive, but built to withstand the wild. While spraying down the remaining mold, his mind is already on the first of many upgrades, the bathroom. The toilet wasn't flushing properly, so he replaces it and adjusts the drainage pipes to fix the alignment. Outside, he replaces the basic waste pit beside the door with a proper septic tank. With a family of 4 moving in permanently, a larger volume system is essential to handle the daily demand. The upgraded system ensures everything flows efficiently downhill away from the house. After securing the new system and fixing the weathered front stairs, he will shift focus to the outdoor kitchen, which has been completely swallowed by nature and demands a heavy restoration. For Hu, bringing this space back into use is a priority, so he can cook while continuing work on the rest of the property. The plan is to clean both the interior and exterior areas to prevent dirt from entering the kitchen, and later equip it with furniture, appliances, and its own independent water source. Although time has passed, some things remain unchanged. The rock slide is still operational, and he uses it to speed up the cleanup of the upper floor. Initial tests revealed smoke leaks and dangerous sparks near the bamboo forest. To solve the problem, he raises the outer chimney to 13 feet, improving the draft and helping the smoke escape safely. He also adds a small cover at the top to keep rain from getting inside and damaging the stove. At last, the time has come to equip the kitchen. He brings in all the essentials to make it fully operational. To get the sink running, a dedicated plumbing setup has to be prepared. Water will be drawn from the existing pipeline and drained down the hillside, giving the kitchen a fully independent supply and removing the need to rely on the garden tap. He tests it, and the wastewater system works as expected. The only remaining task is to bring in fresh water by connecting it to the existing pipe system. Along with the new water lines, he installs a main shut-off valve right next to the kitchen. This eliminates the exhausting daily hikes up the steep mountain path just to turn the water tower on or off. A new iron bed is brought in, as it offers greater durability and withstands the humid conditions much better than wood. Once set in place, Hu brings a touch of modernity inside the mountain. He installs a Wi-Fi router, connects his laptop, and adds a bottled water dispenser to ensure a clean, reliable source of drinking water. The final addition is a steel stove, helping reduce humidity by keeping the interior warm and dry when in use. He installs it in the exact spot where he had left ventilation gaps years earlier, allowing the smoke to escape cleanly out of the house.